Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio. Last time, we defeated the Luisian soldiers on this elevator, and now we have nothing impeding us from taking it to the highest reaches of the Regolith Grand Cathedral. After getting through this fairly complicated area, but we also did Moore's bond. So yeah, finally, the very top of the enemy's stronghold where the Royal Scepter is. One last stretch of dungeon, let's go. And at this point in my first playthrough, I kind of just ran past a lot of the enemies. I was very low on MP and other resources, and I kind of just wanted to get to the end. But this time I want to try and actually engage with things. Speaking of engage with things, hello there, Elementer. Alright, I could actually start to work on Mage with Hulkenberg a little bit here. How we're doing MP? We're all about equally mid when it comes to MP. Hello there! Yeah, I really like that rushing attack for dealing with the Elementers. How much does Botra cost, the medium 10 MP on 2 characters? Oh, that's kinda overkill, but I could also head back and farm some of it with the Mage Hero passive, and I mostly just want to show this off because it's cool.
Show them our might. The power of fire.
And yeah, one shot, okay. I'm not sure, I probably could have done that while spending less MP.
A trivial fight, really.
I mean, yeah, that was a trivial fight, but wasn't trivial in terms of MP cost. And just gonna run over and just get this area fully mapped out because I am a map perfectionist. There's no like map-related side quests in this game or anything though. Alright, no, you were working on... those two appear to be Luisian sword guys, which would mean weakness to ice. Well, it actually took them a while for them to notice me.
Let's go.
They're weak to ice. Let's stop them cold.
No holding back. Be frozen. Charging in. Let's go.
Oh, okay, now's, I did promise to talk about Slicer before, so this attack deals 2 to 4 hits of damage. Now, if it hits all 4 times, it's actually one of the strongest skills we have access to at this point, at an equivalent of 150 power, I believe. But if it only hits twice, it's only a little stronger than Diagonal Slash for a lot more MP. So the way these skills work is, yeah, we only got the 2 hits, that's not good. The way they work is that every one of these skills has, if the skill has 3 different possible hit values, each one has an equal chance at base. So there's a 1 in 3 chance of it hitting twice, 1 in 3 chance of it hitting 3 times, and a 1 in 3 chance of it hitting 4 times. Now, I said earlier that your agility and luck stats slightly influence multi-hit skills, and the way that works is this. Yeah, we're in this place called the Royal Portrait Hall. And of course, Luis is already here. This very gaudy picture of Luis, with a crown hastily painted on him.
Speaking of.
And all the pictures of the king have been defaced, because obviously. Looks like there's a picture of either a different king or one of them, or a younger version of Hethlodius.
Fine.
Okay, yeah, Hulkenberg says past kings, so yeah, different kings. We're finally hearing the Necromancer's name, yeah. Some people in the comments have already mentioned this, but we're not supposed to know the name yet. Now I can finally call him Zorba. But yeah. He's been infamous, but Luis recruited him, even knowing his reputation. Okay, so his offensive spells weren't good, but he had, he could summon undead servants, and, yeah, that definitely feels like the kind of magic that would not be looked on fondly. However, he was not only a lowborn family, but he was half-blood of Mustari pagans. This sounds like a description of a lot of people who go on to do atrocities, actually. The people who just seem very withdrawn. Yeah, he might have a tragic background, but he's doing some truly awful things here and needs to be stopped, especially because I've actually just seen the bad ending of this arc. I said earlier in the playthrough that I'd never seen any of those myself, and so one of the comments drew my attention to it, and I looked them up, and oh wow. Holy crap, are they depressing. I can just say, they are worse than Persona bad endings. And probably because they aren't fully narrated by more. And it really just sells the kind of tragic storybook quality of them. I don't know if some people might find them a little too melodramatic, but I don't recommend looking up the ones past this arc at this point, especially since one of them contains a spoiler for a very late arc in the game. Like, as in, the bad ending actually spoils a plot twist that happens in the arc following it. But not this one. I think that should be... No, they are strong enough for me to not kill in the field. Very much strong enough to not kill in the field. Yeah, so the forget status prevents enemies from using skills. It's essentially this game's version of silence. But for enemies that don't forget how to use their persona, they just forget how to do... Like, they forget how to function. They forget how to exist. That's really dark. But speaking of really dark, back to the bad endings. And speaking of back to, I'm going to go back to my warrior sword setup, just so that I have a guaranteed weakness on them without having to spend MP. As much as I do really like Brawler. The bad ending for this dungeon in particular is just, it really shows you what the stakes are here, and that we absolutely need to stop the Necromancer. I might show it in full before we fight the boss, but let's just say that at least half the population of the city dies. And then we die. Probably am going to have to head back to the entrance to regain MP, but the enemies here are very worth fighting for the experience. Alright, I was talking about the way that agility and luck affect the multi-hit rate of multi-hit skills. So, what they do is they don't strictly influence the odds of hitting multiple times. What they do is that this formula calculates a chance of the game skipping the multi-hit roll and giving you the max hits automatically.
I see the enemy.
The problem is that this chance is capped at 10%. So even with 99 agility and luck, it doesn't actually influence the odds of getting max hits that much. All it really does is you've got like a 40% chance of getting 4 hits with Slicer instead of a 33% chance. Yeah, so that I'm actually noticing in this fight is the vibration feature. So there is actual control of vibration, even in the PC version, if you're using a controller that supports it. And you only get control of vibration on melee attacks, like physical melee attacks. Mage doesn't do that, which I guess that kind of makes sense. So I don't really play like a ton of games these days that actually have control of vibration. You might notice, though, there are some blue specks there. There's a reason for that, but we'll see that reason now.
He's here.
Because we're in fully voiced dialogue, and that means we've got a significant moment.
Well, well. I truly didn't expect you to make it this high. I applaud your resilience, if nothing else.
The sanctuary was all but flooded with Magla. Zorba, was that your doing?
You've heard of me then? Well, considering Lord Luis's influence, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Tell us, those bizarre Magla crystals, they shouldn't naturally form in a place like this. Are you responsible for them?
Oh, you mean the Melancholia crystals? All I did was place a passable core or two along the path to make it easier for them to form.
So in other words, you are responsible for them.
Melancholia crystals.
Yes, little more than a parlor trick to block your path using the newly formed crystals. All magic is derived from motes of Magla. What you saw was just one possible crystallization of it. One that drives mortals to madness.
Speak sense. You claim this horrific aberration is something natural. That you had only the barest hand in its power?
Melancholia, pure and simple. The result of pure magla at its most dense. Man or beast, any wretch who feels its power will go berserk. They'll see anyone as a threat. Some have their bodies harden like scales. Some their very bones twist inside them until there's something else entirely.
Melancholia? What are you trying to achieve? It's the scepter you're after, isn't it?
You certainly ask a lot of questions. I'm afraid I haven't the time for answers. There is much yet to prepare.
Hey! I'm not done talking to you.
You've done nothing but talk. Perhaps you should have listened instead.
I thought they said that his offensive magic power was weak.
Is this a piece of bone?
I had to find some use for the scattered pieces I couldn't animate into soldiers. And now I have 3 more fools to grind down for the pile.
Oh, okay, so it's more like a form of rudimentary telekinesis.
Look out! Take cover!
Still, being pierced by a bullet of bone is gonna be brutal.
Don't fancy our chances making it through that. What do you think?
Maybe if we hit the bones hard enough?
We've no weapons that could hit them at such distance.
How about we fall back for now? There's not much we can do here.
I don't like it, but we've no other choice. Let's pull back.
It really has been one nuisance after another here. I suppose my crushing you will be the last lesson you learn. Come to me if you can!
I do really like that. I don't know why they gave him a Scottish accent in the dub.
That damned Zorba. He would go to such lengths to desecrate the royals' legacies.
But I definitely approve.
Damn frustrating to get stuck after coming this far. No other paths either. Are we just going to have to charge through?
I do feel like all 3 of Will's choices there were close to the solution to an extent.
We cannot evade such a barrage, nor will our armor protect us fully. There has to be a better way.
Yes, if somebody sacrificed themselves, no, let's not do that.
We could use a shield, or something close enough to it.
Because, like, I feel like if this was Persona 5, you'd already have the option to say, Ryuji, you handle it.
A shield?
Take one for the team. But, fortunately, Stroll, as a bro character, is not treated that way in this game.
Well, for lack of a shield proper, can you think of anything we might use?
Well, okay, so all these options are kind of funny. This one actually reminds me of the support in Path of Radiance, where Gatry was conned into buying the ultimate shield that turned out to be a like castle door, which he just couldn't carry. But there isn't a correct option here. But I do want to see what happens if you say this.
Door? You think a door is really going to be that sturdy? And how would we even get the damn thing off the wall?
Well, I mean, Will is very swole right now. I can't believe I said very Stroll right now. I mean, I guess Stroll does have the 2nd highest strength stat, but you get what I mean.
Well, for lack of a shield proper, can you think of anything we might use?
But yeah, that sounds too offensive, but speaking of offensive, maybe that's the answer here.
The painting of Luis.
What? From the portrait hall?
Ah, of course! A marvelous gambit. If we shield ourselves with Luis's portrait, Zorba may well refuse to fire upon us.
Yes, we are taking advantage of the fact that he is that much of a Luis simp.
But it's just a flimsy painting.
A painting that he took the trouble to protect, transport, and mount. If he truly worships Luis, might he not hesitate to shoot it?
I wouldn't be surprised if Zorba painted this himself, honestly.
Point taken. I suppose it's our best shot.
What? You degenerates! That's...
Don't mind us. We've rubbish to dispose of.
rubbish! You heathens! I'll pulverize you!
Try if you like. Be ashamed to destroy your Lord Luis's pretty face, though.
Ah, a heavy-handed, treacherous little...
That's rich coming from you.
Silence! You witless incompetents! I can't tarry here any longer. I have important things to do. However, you defile Lord Luis with this blasphemy! You'll pay. I swear, I'll make you regret this!
Well, we just gave him rage status.
So it's desecration when it comes to his lord, but the sanctity of the dead means nothing.
Yeah, pretty sure the only person alive who means anything to that guy is Luis.
No kidding. We must be getting close. But...
And with that solution, we can move forward. What did we just unlock in the memorandum? Oh, melancholia. Okay. A word uttered by the Necromancer Zorba, thought to be an invocation of magic where the magla within one's body irrepressibly bursts, causing biological functions to turn irregular. The phenomenon drives most creatures to uncontrollable violence, and bizarre changes can occur throughout the body, depending on the degree of its progression. This is the reason why most dungeons are full of monsters in this place. There's a lot of melancholia going around in this world. And yes, we also have two different entries for Trans Crystal and Melancholia Crystal. Trans Crystals are the lesser variants. Some scholars call them Magla Flowers. The Melancholia Crystals are the ones we saw back with the Homo Fucilo and also with the Spectos here. Few knew of them until recently, huh? Oh, okay, so these are actually the early form of Trans Crystal. So they get weaker over time, huh? But before we progress forward, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Regolith Grand Cathedral itself. An enormous cathedral built in the royal capital around the time Sanctism was established as the state religion. Yeah, it wasn't always. The largest structure in the entire kingdom, it boasts a scale far surpassing any other Sanctus construction. The land on which it was built was the former cemetery for the Ukrainian royal family. Yeah, that's the catacombs we went through. The highest point of the building soars past the palace by a large margin. It's almost as if somebody was overcompensating for the fact that they wanted to show who was the real power behind the throne. Just saying. Many feel the comparative grandeur of the cathedral implies, or the memorandum could say exactly what I was saying. Yeah. It's kind of interesting how the older citizens here are the ones who are, like, against the state religion, because usually the stereotype is the other way around. But I guess those people are old enough to remember a time when, when this kind of stuff was not happening, and when the cathedral was not usurping the authority of the king. But anyway, right for the end, we have these adorable new forms of Homo Tenta.
Evenly matched. Guess we better
The
scan our-
Azure Homo Tenta. These ones reflect ice, but are weak to fire and pierce. I guess, like, you know, the dentist's drill or something? Okay, they do resist strike attacks. So right at the end, Knight good, Brawler not so much. Like, yeah, you'd think that Brawler would be able to knock their teeth out, but no. Okay, that could have been a bad thing. Let's see. Anybody here weak to that? Oh, I think Brawler's weak to that, actually. And yet you decide to go for the thing that Brawler resists. Yeah, I am definitely going to have to head back and recover my MP before I move onward. Because there's, like, one other significant enemy in our way before we get to the dungeon bosses. Why not? Oh, that actually was enough to take you out. Nice. As always, I am not good at also nice, even experience numbers there. I am not good at, knowing, like, exactly how low the last section of the health bar represents. Okay, yeah, so you go back into Night. I suppose you can, no, I do want to level up Brawler a little bit more on Stroll.
Right there.
Not bad, if I said...
Ha! I have never known such heights.
I think that's all of them.
I'm just gonna go around pulling all these rotten teeth while I'm here.
Still fight.
Let's get him some healing.
I can't give up now.
Captain's on his last legs.
That was a very lucky survival. I've also realized that these things, like, you know, rotten teeth is kind of right, because the sort of azure parts of the inside peeking out from, like, cracks in the tooth, I can see that triggering dental phobia in some people. Reminds me of how the game Psychonauts actually does, Psychonauts 2 specifically, does actually warn about potential dental phobia at the start of that game. And there is a reason why, given the first level there.
Commendable technique, everyone.
Ah, here they are! Yeah, this is that exact last enemy I was talking about. These are the strongest enemy in this dungeon, and they're weak to pierce and ice. So I might want to actually switch to my Night Will setup.
I see the enemy.
Okay, hello there. Ah! Oh no, I no longer have... Oh, that's really terrible, actually. Heat Riser? I forgot you guys had that. Oh no, yep. Yeah. Didn't realize that I was not prepared for them to attack that fast. Okay. So yeah, the less people you have, the less press turns you have. So if you take a bad hit and lose a party member early in a fight, it can be harder to recover. Oh, okay, you still do that. But with all the extra press turns, are you going to do it immediately? No, you're just going to keep using the front rows being targeted. So, as long as everybody just jumps into the back row, we should be safe from that. Yeah, there's Bonfire of the Vanities. Actually, Almighty Element, despite the fact that it says fire in its name. And you're just going to focus on that again. I do like that, like, even just these just groups of basic enemies have some, like, tactics to them. The teeth will use Heat Riser on the Owl Man. Yeah, that's a sentence, but it makes sense. Oh, okay, they're wolves, right? But even still, that's more annoying thing to deal with. Yeah, that's what the burn does. You take a little bit of extra damage after you get hit, proportional to how much damage you took. Oh yes, and this is a mechanic that you will learn to really hate later in the game. Okay, finally that worked. Ah, and I'm still right in front of you.
What now?
And ailments persist after battle too. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get moving. Because, if I'm remembering right, yeah, there's a Magla Hollow right here. And I think I'll take this opportunity to head back to the lower floors and just run around and use the enemies as an MP battery.
However... Yes.
Oh, we actually get decent backstory on Zorba that we wouldn't if we hadn't used the Talk to Allies option. Okay, Hulkenberg barely has enough for a first aid. Making this even easier, the stronger wolves don't respawn. Now let's see what a run through the zombies on this floor gets me. A lot less than I expected. I prefer the first floor.
I can feel my power growing.
Okay, got a couple of archetype level ups out of that. It does take a while for that to happen from enemies this week, so you don't need to worry too much about getting over-leveled with this method. However, once you have some maxed out archetypes, I'd recommend equipping them while doing an MP refill session. And I can't wait until I get to explain why. So I went in with 90, I came out with 122. So that's 32 MP from one run of this floor. This looks like enough MP, but now I want to do a run through this floor with merchants just to see how much I earn. So I have 39,268. There's no real benefit to keeping the combo indicator on screen, but now I have 46,708. Oh wait, I missed two.
Right there.
47,194. Thing is, I'm stubborn, and I have to kill one of these homo for kilos for my pride. Oh, of course, I immediately get the critical stun there on the field. I equip warriors specifically to prevent it from preempting me. But okay, Hello there, teeth and owl combo!
Hit their weakness.
It is time for you to taste the sweet revenge that is my revenge.
I shall fight us. The time to go offensive. Let's get on with it.
Let's do this.
I really shouldn't do this, but... Okay, it's not out of stun. That's good. As long as I don't hit it again, we should be fine. In fact, yeah, I'm just gonna play it perfectly safe. But yeah, as I've said, you kind of either completely wreck the enemies or you get completely wrecked yourself. That is how, like, hard mode in an Atlas press turn game generally works. Alright, I'm a warrior, so, I guess I can try a slicer. Yeah, I only got 2. It is a gamble in that regard. If you only get 2 hits off of Slicer, it is very inefficient. But if you get all 4, it's very powerful. But not as powerful as Peerless Stonecleaver, obviously. I'm not going to take any chances. Jump thrust. So yeah, I made it feel like a joke, but it made me feel like a joke the time it ambushed me. So, turnabout is fair play, I suppose.
Not bad.
Okay, we got level 17 on Will with that.
I feel stronger.
I'm really tempted to take down the other one, because that'll probably rank up Stroll's Knight. And hence, the risk-reward of RPGs. Aha! It's no longer a red enemy! Hopefully a diagonal slash finishes. There we go!
Woo, not too shabby. Let's keep this up, everyone.
Okay.
Oh, got to rank up on Warrior, too.
Rise to the occasion.
And a level up on Stroll.
I could get used to this.
And first aid on... Yeah, I was right to level up Knight on Stroll. Because, yeah, that could patch us up a little. I think I'll go back to Brawler on you for a little bit. There's not much left to go. I like how the mission has changed to thwart Zorba's schemes. Now, you know what I'm saying? Aha! There are 2 captains and a bunch of weaklings behind them. So, hello there. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. Oh, right. Finally, the captain realized that his men were getting attacked there. Wasn't expecting you to have such a big range on your sword swipe there. Also, yeah, they have slice, and it did like 1 damage. I shouldn't be laughing because their other attacks are quite strong, but
I will not let you die. Thanks.
okay. Well, we finally get a taste of my bulky healer Hulkenberg build that I really like.
Moving to the I call upon royal power within. Ridiculous.
Let's stay calm.
Forward.
Oh, right, that's why my first Skullcracker did like no damage. I was in the rear.
I'm counting on you. Got me.
Okay, I made the right call there. Hammer of Justice would have been more MP for Oh, it's the weak guys. Okay, you really sure you want to do this?
Stay sharp.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You'll be
Well, I mean, they're the ones who picked this fight, I suppose. Okay, right. Kind of glad that that ended there and the other weaklings didn't just jump in.
Before we hit the next mess.
Because now I can do this. Hello there. Hello there. And finally, hello there.
Good. Tend to
Okay,
the
there we go.
prey.
Yeah, really shouldn't be, you know, those guys are like actual human beings who join Luis's army, but like, you know, as far as gameplay goes, that's pretty funny to do.
This is...
And they were, in fact, the last of the guards, besides Zorba himself. We have reached the end. Finally. The Grand Trade Cathedral overall, it can be an endurance fest in your first run, but I do think it's quite well designed, especially with that entire, like, sort of side quest that you go through. Now, the fight's not coming yet, don't worry too much about being fully topped up, but I'm just going to heal myself a little bit anyway. And there will be a save point before the boss. This game wouldn't be that cruel. It does do one particularly cruel thing with save points later on.
Royal scepter. Has he truly taken it? How could he have dispelled those wards alone?
But not for the reasons you would think.
No. But even if he has it, we've seen no signs of escape. Were the scepter his only target, he'd not have stayed within.
Where'd he go? No one's seen him, so he must still be close by.
That's the only other way out, right?
If he's gone ahead, he could only be on the roof. But what could he seek there?
There's more to his plan than stealing the scepter. Probably that day of calamity he's been raving about. He said we had until the morning is over? We must stop him.
Hurry!
And no going back to base to make a plan for a separate day like in Persona 5. We fight the boss the same day we go in the dungeon.
Onward.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you from leaving now if you still have more time, but I'm this far in. I've refilled with the mage passive. I think we should just head in. I believe this rubble over here, like, this is where we would have reached if we were, like, if we had been following Hulkenberg that first day, like, that we met her, and we didn't get blocked by the rubble before. Yes, the camera is,
Even so.
is really pointing out that human corpse down there. Yeah. And we're facing a Necromancer, right? And there's the corpse of a gigantic monster that's conveniently not been cleaned up in the courtyard. But I'm sure that couldn't mean anything. It's great atmosphere leading up to this boss fight, though. Truly amazing. Also, I like Luis's, like, the face that you kind of notice first. Even though Forden's is bigger, like, the way the camera pans, you will naturally notice Luis's face there first. And here is our final save point before the boss. So, for this fight that's coming up, Zorba himself has no weaknesses, but he'll be summoning things that are weak to light. So, having a healer in the party or inheriting Hammer onto something else could be useful. In fact, on that note, I might go ahead and... No, Hulkenberg's not only has one inheritance slot right now. Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I only have one inheritance slot on most people. But I suppose there's no harm in inheriting Hammer onto Will's Brawler archetype. Zorba himself also doesn't resist light, so going for Mahama combos can be nice. When all else fails though, there's Peerless Stonecleaver. If you want to make this fight very easy, you can use a party of 3 warriors and just spam Peerless Stonecleaver, but I feel like that's a bit cheap for such a climactic story fight, so yeah, I'm not going to do that. Okay, Energy Ray requires a Seeker, Mage, or Healer, and that could be a useful option to have. Or I can inherit Tarukaja, which might be useful here. Oh, Stroll has advanced Seeker enough to get that. Oh, and I do have 2 slots on Seeker's inheritance. Right. Yeah, I think I will actually give Stroll Tarukaja so I can keep Hammer on Will. Oh, actually, you know what? I have items for healing. Maybe Knight with Hammer is a better option on Hulkenberg. Because that way I have Hammer of Justice for weakness generation. Though I do lose Energy Ray there, but I have 2 other people with Hammer. Before we go, let's see what the stakes are should we fail.
Hang on. Ugh.
Upon waking, they were assailed by a sinister, blinding light that emanated from the Grand Cathedral.
What's going on? Did he do this too?
Someone! Help! Eventually, the city streets were filled with the sound of heavy, unknown footsteps, and distant screams echoed across the stone. The footsteps and the light slowly closed in, and soon after, the screams and crashing rubble grew deafening, heralds of the city's fall.
What's happening outside?
Before long, the panic reached the hushed Honeybee Inn. From those humble lodgings, they faced their destiny's end.
That's... no! Impossible!
And in a trice, all was consumed by light. The extent of the casualties at the capital were unknown. It is thought that more than half of the population died that day. Such was the scale of the tragedy that no words could capture the horror. Future generations came to call it simply the Day of Calamity. What became of our would-be heroes? There are none alive who know.
Do not forswear thy path. Thy journey to the throne is but half run.
At last.
Okay. Let's finish this.
This is the royal scepter, is it? Divine relic, progenitor of all igniters. Now I need only keep it safe until the handover.
Trespasser, the faith of the people doth not lie with thee. Thou art unworthy of the crown's authority.
Yeah, even the King Moon's calling you out, sir.
Until a worthy successor rises, I shall keep the scepter. Only one may wield the magic of kings, the true protector of the poor.
There you have it. The king will only forfeit the royal scepter to a people's champion. So, no risk of it falling into someone else's hands for now. Meaning Lord Luis's victory is assured. All that remains is my glorious calamity. Oh, how they will cry when the swell of Magla bursts. How they will beg and crawl and plead for Lord Luis's salvation. There you are.
Where is the royal scepter?
The fallen king protects it. The scepter is beyond us all.
Yeah, that thing basically just keybladed up into, well, whatever passes for hands the king has now.
For the time being, that is. Now, if you're finished, be gone from my sight. I'll not harm you either. Even I have some sympathy for fools.
Oh, we'll see ourselves out. Once we knock Luis's whereabouts out of you.
I'm sorry. Do you actually think you can stop me?
Why don't we find out?
I see now! No wonder I couldn't understand your actions. They're baseless, utterly unfounded.
Oh no, I assure you, they are quite based.
Madness ill becomes you, Zorba.
You again. What would you know of it? I know no lady knights. Wait! A knight with blood-red tresses. Don't tell me you're the buffoon who failed to protect the prince.
Judgments mean nothing from a man who sullies the dead. You've fallen far yourself.
Perhaps I am unworthy of the royal scepter, but I can still bring change to this world. I can still teach them true fear.
Ah yes, the true bring change this world, reducing the population of an entire city by half.
You'll find that hard to do from a dungeon, blackguard. The time has come for you to face justice.
You, knight, have no idea what real justice is. And that mistake will cost you your life. Rejoice, rats! That witless assassin is dead. But I shall gladly send you to join him! Now die! Lord Luis's destined kingdom will be built atop your bones!
Yeah, the way that the speedrun does this, it mashes the text just fast enough that you still hear him saying the first part of the line, so, now die! Is like burned into your memory.
What destined kingdom? Tell us where Luis has gone, or we'll tear the words from you!
For all the innocent lives you played for pawns, I shall make you pay!
We don't stop him? There's no telling how much he'll destroy. Looks like we can't brute force through this one.
So, this is Zorba, and contrary to what Gallica says, you will have to brute force your way through him, because he has no weaknesses. He has 2,500 HP, and he is not resistant to light. But he's also not resistant to any physical element, but he resists most magic. In terms of his offensive skills, he does have dark and lightning attacks, so knights and healers will have to be aware of their weaknesses. And he can also use some various ailment moves, but the main thing that he does, you'll see that later on. But for now, yeah, let's start with my Stroll Tarukaja. Let's put that on Will for the moment.
Let's stay calm.
And, okay, with that, Will can jump to the 4, and let's see how much... Actually, no, let's go for the Slicer and see if I get the 4 hits. I did get the 4 hits, not bad. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good damage so far. Now, I don't have any of those defense debuff items. I do, however, have this Holy Oshery. That could be useful in a pinch later if things get really bad. But for now, I think Hulkenberg is just gonna... No, you hang back and use Hammer on him. See how much that does. Nah, 90. I love this guy's battle dialogue. Gallica, you didn't realize that already? So the main gimmick of this fight is him summoning Corpse Thralls. This fight is simple, yet potentially dangerous, as the Corpse Thralls have nothing but a regular attack. But Zorba can inflict rage on them to boost the damage they deal to you, and that can add up fast if you aren't careful. But they, unlike a lot of other things in this fight, are weak to light. So I'm gonna go buff up Hulkenberg's attack now. So yeah, now I can start using Hammer on the Corpse Thralls. Yeah, they're bulkier than you would think. And he'll keep summoning more and more of them. The fight won't end until he's down, forcing you to balance between knocking down his HP and dealing with the Corpse Thralls to reduce the amount of, like, press turn attacks you take. Because the more of them that are there, the more chance he has of getting more press turns. But now I have a double attack buff on Will. This should hopefully kill. It did. Good. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's another good line of his. Yeah, even without any additional, like, damage boost, 72 off a regular attack is pretty strong. So now I'm going to start on the second plan here, and that is to use Hammer of Justice to inflict a Pierce weakness on Zorba. With that, I'll be able to stack more Hammers of Justice on him for additional weakness damage, but okay, Stroll... Let's, how are your other buff? Okay, Will's buff is still going, Hulkenberg's defense buff is about to wear off. I think I'll actually put another attack buff on Hulkenberg. Okay, yeah, we have that. That gives a chance of inflicting stun. But he's not getting very lucky with that. Okay, so, defense return to normal. My synthesis is not going to be super useful right here, so let's Hammer the Corpse Thrall to get an extra turn. And now, let's go for the Hammer of Justice, now that he is weak to this, to keep compounding that damage. Okay, Stroll though, I suppose I can stack... Oh, okay, my Will attack buff's about to wear off. Let's stack up another one there. I could go for a Slicer. Yeah, again, it's just the whole thing of, like, do you focus on taking down the Corpse Thralls, or do you focus on piling on damage onto the Necromancer himself? There are pros and cons to both, but I'm not going to use a regular attack on Zorba, because that will get rid of that temporary weakness. And I want to save that for a Hammer of Justice. I wonder if, like, maybe I should... Okay, let me see if this kills. It might not. Okay, it did. That's good. So that forces him to spend another one of his turns summoning again. He can have up to 2 Corpse Thralls active. Oh yeah, their attack's a strike element, so Warrior's good for resisting them. And if he does have 2, then things can get a little overwhelming with press turns. I did actually, like, this guy did actually wreck me in my first playthrough. Granted, I didn't know about the whole Peerless Stone Cleaver trick, but, I might show that in bonus footage because it's a little silly. But okay, let's... Okay, I have 2 press turns to go here. I think I'm going to actually hammer here, because I really want to get that Hammer of Justice off with Hulkenberg. So let's go in. Oh, I don't even have enough MP for Hammer of Justice because it uses Stroll's MP, but I can at least. This will end the weakness combo, but it will give him a defense debuff at least. So I think I'm getting kind of close to being able to finish him off soon. One more good barrage of attacks should do this.
Hold on.
There is still a Corpse Roll active, though. Let's actually go for... You are in the back row already. I'm going to go for a... Fairy Dust to keep myself a little bit topped up. Okay, yeah, now he's got 2 of them active. I think they can be female zombies. Sometimes I've just got, like, the randomness has just made him summon only male zombies. But okay, then. Do I hammer for the turn economy, or do I... I think I want to just focus down Zorba this turn. Let's go Slicer. Okay, 3 hits is not bad. I can't Hammer of Justice. Jump Thrust might do enough. And it would be kind of fitting for Hulkenberg to finish this. If this works, come on! For Grius!
Impossible! This can't be happening! Lord Luis!
As I said, don't underestimate that fight. It's simple, but you can get wrecked by it if you're not prepared.
I shall strive to use this power.
Oh, of course, Hulkenberg levels up from that too. And that would have been the classic Atlas trope of you always learn the skill that would have been really helpful in the fight right after the fight.
A new means of protection.
Okay, that means I don't need to equip the Greaves on you, which is just in time, because after this dungeon's over, I'll be able to purify something else at the church.